You know, with everything going on worldwide with CV, you still got a crowd of high IQ people that want to go on with life as if nothing is going on. Recently, the governor of Florida and Rick Scott, the senator, address these massive crowds coming down there and getting on all of the beaches, not just certain ones. And this is the same story on, Lemming Beach and other beaches around Clearwater, where these folks have decided they're not going to stay home and do online classes. They're going to go down here and act like nothing is going on in the country. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a selfish act. These are people that are thinking about nobody but themselves and have no concern for anything going on in their country. But see, these are the same ones that want to tell you how patriotic they are and trying to tell you you're wrong for doing this and not standing up for the fleet. This is the crowd right here. But there's an illness spreading around the world, and this is what they choose to do. But will be the first one if they land flat on their ass whining about having CV. I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you that recently came out on ABC News. And this is Rick Scott, the senator that they are interviewing.
Joining us now by phone, Florida Senator Rick Scott, who was, of course, also governor there for 8 years. Senator, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Well, it's pretty disappointing, isn't it? These people are irresponsible, they're stupid, they're selfish. We're all in this together, and we got to take care of each other, and they're not. So these people need to get off the beach unless they can go. There's probably times where the beach isn't busy. Maybe you can go then, but get off the beach.
Now, you are definitely trying to keep yourself safe and others. You've been in quarantine for more than a week after being exposed to the Brazilian delegation that tested positive for coronavirus. First off, let's just ask, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I've learned to take my temperature. So I do that about every 3 hours. I know I'm generally about 97.5. I've been talking to the stint doctor, my own personal doctor. They said the first symptom is fever, and so I haven't had a fever. I have until Monday at 9, Monday morning at 9 o'clock. That will be 14 days. So I look forward to eventually seeing my wife and my kids. But I'm going to do the right thing because I want to make sure I don't infect anybody, and everybody ought to be doing that. Lindsay, what are we doing? What we're doing is we're doing social isolation so this thing stops growing, so it gives us time to figure out how to take care of patients and how to make sure we get a vaccine. That's what we're doing. That's what we all should be doing.
Now, you say that that's what we all should be doing. President Trump was with the same Brazilian delegation. He is not self-quarantining. Do you believe that he should be?
Well, I was at the same event he was, so I don't know if the individual that was tested positive was with him, and the Brazilian president said he tested negative. So I wasn't there, but I can tell you, we all have to take this seriously. Look what it's doing to our economy. And look at how many people have passed away around the world. And by the way, Lindsay, just think about what we can learn from Taiwan. One person has died. We can learn from South Korea. Less than 100 people have died. Or we can become Italy, where 3,000 people have died. I want to be like South Korea and Taiwan. I love my family. We all love our families and our friends and people we work with. So take this seriously.
Now, you were governor, as we mentioned, for 8 years in Florida and have experience taking measures during so many hurricanes. In an interview this morning on Fox News, Governor DeSantis said, quote, "The message, I think, for spring breakers is that the party is over in Florida." But is he doing enough to end the party?
Well, I think at every level of government, and look at reality, Lindsay, whether it's the governor or whether it's the mayor, in every jurisdiction around the country, people have to make sure there's social distancing. We all do. We've got to do everything we can Florida issues the beaches, right? But it might be someplace else. It might be a lake place in some other state. All of our governors, all of our mayors, everybody could have stand up and do the right thing here. I want to get through this. I know we can get through this if we work together. That's what I'm working on.
How would you rate the federal response to coronavirus so far on, let's say, a scale from 1 to 10?
Well, I'm not sure how you can rate it, but here's what I like, and here's what I think we need to do more of. I like the fact that we didn't allow people to fly in from China. That was really helpful. But right now, we have got to, and I'll tell you what I've been working on since I've been here. I mean, every day. I want to get this border secure. I want to get these testing sites up. I mean, I've been talking to people all across my state and people all across the country because I used to run a large hospital company. Some of them don't have swabs. Some of them don't have the reagents. Some of them don't have the vials. Some of them don't have the kits. We have to get together and we have to share these resources so we can save everybody's life. But what's really important is we need to get these healthcare workers safe. So I was talking to the head of 3M today. What can we do? I'm the Surgeon General today. What can we do to make sure we get more protective gear out there? So we've got to keep figuring this out.
Earlier in the week, the president asked individual governors to deal with getting respirators. Does Florida have the supplies that it needs?
I don't think. I think that as I talk to people around the country, not just in Florida, they're not out, but they're having to either have to use things longer now. So that's why I talked to 3M about how can we get more things out. Now, legislation that was passed is going to allow. I guess it's industrial respirators to be used in the healthcare, which is really good. The other thing that when I talked to the Surgeon General today, by closing down elective surgery, that should save some. But one thing is, by getting rid of elective surgery, then there's locations that are not going to be doing surgery. So can we use that? Can we share those resources? We have to. So the whole healthcare system, they all have to come together to figure out how do we do what's important now. Where do we need the resources now? Let's do that. Let's save lives and let's prevent people from getting coronavirus. We do more people lives will be safe until we figure out what treatment. I'm hopeful that there'll be a treatment that we figure out, and eventually we get this vaccine. That's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against time.
We just heard from the DHS secretary, and he said that there is no shortage of testing kits. Is that true in Florida?
Well, what they've said is, it depends on who you talk to. I was talking to the healthcare district of Palm Beach, and they had the protective equipment. Their issue was making sure they got more tests. Then I talked to somebody else. Their issue was to get more reagents. So that's why I'm trying to get everybody to share and talk to each other. So we all have to do that. We have to figure this out. So what they say is there's more tests out now. But the other thing is it's not just tests. We got to figure out how do you streamline this. The way I think about it, it's a production line. Do we have each piece of the production line, and then how do we accelerate the results? How do we get to where you go in and hopefully within hours you get a result, so whether at that point whether you need to be quarantined or not, and at that point whether you need to call everybody you've come in contact with and tell them they need to be quarantined. That's what we've got to get to as quickly as we can.
And just lastly, beyond just the virus itself, there's the unprecedented economic effect. I mean, Americans are worried tonight. Miami certainly isn't a cheap city to live in. Our monthly checks are about $1,000, $1,200 a month, or for a one-time payment, or perhaps two times. Let's say for a bartender there who may be out of work indefinitely and unable to pay for rent and food and other costs of living. Is that enough?
Lindsay, what I focus on, I've been talking about, is we've got to get to the worker, the hourly worker, the person relying on those people as fast as we can. How do you get there faster? One, make sure we have a robust unemployment system, which we do. In Florida, we have $4 billion sitting in the bank, so you can do that. Number two, we ought to say to them, you make less than $75,000 a year. If you want to postpone your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your taxes, you can wait, postpone it for 60 days and pay it out over the next 12 months after that. Do the same thing for our small businesses. That's how we'll get money faster to the people that need it the most. It's the hourly workers, the tip workers, the small businesses. That's how we'll get money to them fast. That's what we need to be doing.
Senator Rick Scott, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Lindsay.
All right, y'all. So, so he did address this among many other things that, much of the country is struggling with. Now, I do have an article that I'm going to put out a little later, and it's talking about trying to set up something where mortgages can be delayed for 1 year. So we'll see what measures they put in place because, those things will be interesting to see what they will come up with. But in order for them to even think about things like that, this thing is bad, y'all. This is bad. And they know it's no light at the end of the tunnel anytime soon. I virtually got emails from everybody, my local power company, Verizon Wireless, Comcast, they all are doing their part in trying to delay payments. But this is only temporary. These folks eventually are going to want every dime of what is owed, ladies and gentlemen. And you can best believe they're going to be coming after people hard after this little grace period is over. But y'all, please tell me what you think. These folks down here, hard-headed, don't want to listen. And like I said, the fact that they're out here knowing that CV is spreading like wildfire in the country, this is nothing but a very selfish, self-centered act of, I don't care, I want to do what I want, that type of thing. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.